power very easily. And a lot of that's what's going on right now. It's you see that the fight already taking place. And so what's going to happen in the future, I'm not sure, but I think that ultimately the momentum of it all will be so strong that, things will change anyway. Certain things will just have to change, whether it goes beyond just what people want and don't want. It'll get bigger than all of that. And I think that the systems will change over time. I also think that as the people began to express themselves in new ways, it creates an effect and a change. I mean, you look at it now, the people themselves have a great ability to communicate. You have this radio show. It's internet-based. It goes all over the world. There's no limitation to this, for example. And there's a lot of things like that where we have a voice today. And those voices will get louder and louder, and as they do, it will force change. People in power won't let it go easily. They'll fight. They'll manipulate. They'll do everything they can. But ultimately, the rising tides of the people, I think, will win out. And I think it will produce some massive change. But, again, when you look across the landscape of life today, it's easy to see that it looks like how are we going to solve these problems. And I admit I can feel the same feelings. And it looks daunting sometimes, like how in the world is this ever going to shift?
Yeah.
I just see so much of that, and it can bring me down sometimes. I just don't see sometimes how it can possibly work out. But then I find this place in my heart where I access something larger than self, and I access my own core power and my own intuition, and I begin to see it differently. I see it more hopefully, more open-ended, and more possibilities begin to emerge from me. But I can feel both just like anybody can, and that's I say that with compassion because I go through the same thing.
I do believe that you're right on that note, Howard. I want to ask you a little bit more about technology. You mentioned the internet before here. What is the Heartmath Institute kind of relationship with the technological development in all of this as well? With technology aid in this process? I mean, you guys, for instance, have a lot of technology-based products out there and so forth in order to aid along with this.
Yeah, we do. Well, we have once we understood the heart-brain communication that I talked about earlier in the show, we wanted to know how could you improve it, and we began to study a field called heart rhythm analysis. Its medical term is heart rate variability. And that gives you a measurement of the quality of communication between the heart and the brain. And then we discovered you could improve that. And so we began to develop technology that can measure changes in the heart-brain communication and then use those measurements to train us how to improve the communication between heart and brain. And so the state that we were improving is really something I referred to just briefly earlier called coherence, a highly ordered, highly synchronized state. So we developed the M-Wave technology. That's E-M-W-A-V-E. It comes in computer-based versions as well as handheld versions. Now, the M-Wave measures the subtle changes in our heart rhythms, and it scores those changes to determine how coherent they are. Low coherence is normal, high coherence is optimal. And you can see this happening on the screen. You see the heart rhythm patterns on the screen, you see the coherence levels changing, and you use this technology to learn how to improve your heart-brain coherence. It's powerful technology. We sell the M-Waves, hundreds of thousands of them, really all around the world. They're available in many countries. We sell them in over 75 countries. I know if a lot of your listeners are in Scandinavia, Heartmath Scandinavia, heartmath.se. You can see the M-Waves there on the Heartmath Scandinavia site, and you can learn more about them. It's a little difficult to describe, but it's simple technology, handheld and computer-based. People from all walks of life use it. It's used by Olympic athletes, professional golfers, business people. Lots of health professionals, medical professionals use the M-Wave technology. Hundreds of thousands of people interested in their personal and spiritual growth use it. It's become quite popular. It's in a sense a form of biofeedback, but it's different than brain biofeedback. It's really heart biofeedback. And that's something we developed here at HeartMath. So that's to your point. We recognize that using technology in a positive way could be very powerful. We're very technology oriented as a global society today. So we did develop technology that's good for you. And one interesting note, I just remembered this, is like in 2008, this year in January 2009 at the Consumer Electronics Show, which is a huge show held in Las Vegas every year. The M-Wave technology actually won an award called the Last Gadget Standing, which is an award that people vote on for the most innovative and useful new technology. So we beat out technology from the major companies, things like cell phones and cameras and all those kind of technologies, and we won the Last Gadget Standing award. So it's very powerful technology and fun. It's fun to use and useful to use. It helps you learn how to regulate your emotions. It reduces stress. It gives you the ability to improve heart-brain coherence and a lot of things. So I recommend you go to the Heartmath sites, heartmath.com or .org, or if you're in a country like Scandinavia, go to heartmath.se. You can check out our global partners around the world. We have them in China, and we have them in Australia, and Netherlands, France, UK, a lot of places where we have representatives.
So this technology, in that sense, is aimed at helping you along to get more familiar, because again, you alluded to kind of similarities with a biofeedback device before, that you can see the direct results, if you will, then on a screen, but eventually this is something that you should be able to harness even without the technology. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You can do it without the technology. It's kind of like the technology is a friendly facilitator. It's sort of like a GPS system in a sense. I got around for most of my whole life without a GPS and found where I needed to be. But now that I have one in my car, it makes it a little easier.
There you go. So in terms of health as well, maybe you can talk about that and how the heart function and the improvement and awareness of the heart is connected with health, Howard.
Well, when we learn to regulate our emotions and when we learn to improve this heart-brain communication, a whole host of health benefits can occur. First of all, we definitely become more revitalized. That's not a direct health benefit, but it's an effective good health. We've seen a lot of changes in things like lowering of blood pressure. We can't make that medical claim, but we certainly have seen it through case histories and through what's been reported back to us by people. Changes in things like heart arrhythmia have occurred. We've done studies showing changes in things like diabetes. Again, blood pressure, we've done some studies in companies showing a lowering of blood pressure. It's not a clinical study, but it's a study showing the effects of Heartmath techniques and our technology on things like that. Emotional health definitely has improved. Lots of improvement with people that suffer from things like anxiety and depression. That's been improved as well. So a host of health benefits can occur when we learn to operate more coherently internally, improve that heart-brain communication, learn to activate positive emotions more regularly. A lot of things happen in the body that are positive for us. And so, you can look on the sites and see studies and see case